So good afternoon, everybody, from a slightly cloudy Edinburgh in Scotland. I'm really sore not to be with you in person, but really excited about the presentations this week and getting into some what feel like some great conversations to come. My name is Duncan MacGruer. I work for the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. I'm the portal services manager there and look after both our uPortal installation, but also Fiosan, our notification service. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about for a brief few minutes this afternoon. I'd like to just go through a bit of background to the tool, where we are in terms of our Apereo incubation, and then some thoughts that we're having about how to expand our community, and also a bit of background to some of the development work that's currently taking place within our notifications service. So just to return to what this is, just in case anyone's not really so familiar with the software, Fiosan delivers a cross-system solution for notifications and emergency comms across our campus. Created to both receive notification information from various sources and also to provide it across multiple channels too. So while our one at the moment is available within our uPortal install, it's built to be adaptable to support multiple channels such as email and text messaging if needed. What we're hoping to do with this one is to promote efficiency and effectiveness across our organization. The reason we were interested in this area because feedback showed people receiving far too many emails and things were getting lost in a great flood of them. We also found that our staff and students were sometimes unsure of their academic and administrative tasks. So what we're hoping to do is promote people towards doing the correct things at the correct time, just to make sure that our organization continues to work effectively. And it's also led us to think about how we undertake internal communication. So underpinning what our internal communications colleagues in communications and marketing want to do, not only in terms of finding the right people, but also in terms of analyzing those campaigns, so understanding how they're doing. We've been using this thing in the live service since 2019, since April last year, but obviously our incubation process began a couple of years previous to that. And in terms of our incubation, what we're doing at the moment, we're using this along with one other partner. We want to consolidate these code bases because we've made some modifications and want to pull it together into one central repository to make this thing truly open. We also want to continue to build our community so we can hopefully promote some more users of it during this week, but also to share our information and our research because it's key to people being able to use this thing effectively, I think. I also want to try and understand what other people's challenges are in these areas so that we can work towards a roadmap that works for everybody that wants to use it and actually try and build out a look into the future of what this service could be. So one of my first key sort of points that I want to take away from this week is the actions that I can take to move forward in this time of straitened development budgets. I'm sure a lot of universities are feeling this. Not just us, so with the uncertainty around whether students are going to be able to return to campus this year. It's not all about the technology. I don't think it's all about finding development resource. I think there are things that all of us can do to move these things forward. I've spent around the last 5 years trying to build communities of practice at University of Edinburgh, some more successful than others. And I want to take that learning forward and try and move us forward here too. And I think the best way to do that is through user focus and through a shared purpose, because actually true user-centrism when building these technologies isn't fast or easy. It shouldn't be. If it was, surely everybody would be doing this thing. So we want to actually research and find out about how people use these systems so that we can build something that works for many people. And what we're experiencing is that there's a certain familiarity for people of not just in this zone. So there's things that people know how to use. So they know how to use their phone operating system through social media. Some of those notification systems are really well understood and useful, and some, to be honest, are not. So we want to, recognize that the mistakes have been made in the past. We want to learn from those and build something truly useful. And what we're looking at the moment are around interactions. Should people be able to dismiss their notification? Should they have reminders? How should they be categorized? What does opt-in and opt-out look like? We also want to look at display. So within our portal, we want to just make sure that people really see these things when there's a true campus-wide emergency. We also want to work with communications colleagues to understand what an emergency is. And at the heart of this, again, I just want to remember our purpose. We're looking to simplify or make easier task completion and simplify our comms. It's a large, devolved university, and sometimes it's a struggle to make that work. Whether you are convinced of analytics as a user experience measurement tool or not, at least we're getting to see usage out of this thing, so we can understand what types of communications people are finding useful, and try and put a figure on exactly what it means for us to start using this software. And I mentioned before about communities, and I just want to think this week as well, what are the benefits of a community like the one that we're working with this week? What are the shared needs that we have, and what should be of interest to everybody, and where do we need breakout areas and subgroups and these kind of things? One of the key things I always find about communities is the opportunity to share and learn from others' experiences, so that we don't need to all do the same research. Obviously, there's local requirements, but actually not stealing ideas, but leveraging people's ideas that have already worked well is a great route to getting things done quicker. There's also something to be said for co-creation, because taking other people's ideas, and actually not only when building interfaces, but interactions too, I think is extremely valuable. It's something I would want to get out of a community. And also this idea of peer support and idea exchange. I mean, I've only been working in the portal area for just less than a year. And there's tons that I believe I can learn from this thing. And I say at the bottom here, before logistics comes learning. And I think it's the second thing that I would want to learn this week. So I ask anybody to get in touch with me if you have something that you would want to see from such a community, if there's something you'd like to learn, or some important information that you think that we should be able to share. Because sharing research and learning is one of the key values that we hold at the University of Edinburgh, and working in a transparent and open manner. I genuinely believe that software like this is only ever going to be as good as our imaginations, and the way that we approach it is all important. So I've talked a little bit about the history of notifications at the University of Edinburgh, but if you'd like to hear more about our use cases, and also some of the technical ways that this is underpinned, Chris Beach, my colleague from Unicon, and I are going to be doing a presentation this Thursday. I'm going to give that time in the Eastern Daylight Time, not in mine. That's actually going to be towards the end of the day for me. But we're going to look at some use cases that we've already got that promote task completion, and also ways in which we're saving the sanity of our service desks at the University of Edinburgh. As I mentioned, Chris is going to be doing a technical overview of how this thing is put together. And my cast iron guarantee for that presentation is not going to be as bewildering as my attempts to work out what time zone I'm going to be presenting in. If you would like to find out more about how, ahead of time, you want to find out more about how the University of Edinburgh is doing in the open source environment, so not only within uPortal and Fiosan, our notifications, but also we use Drupal as a central CMS and a group of other open source softwares. If you want to find out more about our approach to those, or any of the background to what I've said, then please have a look at our blog environment, or get in touch with me. I'm really happy to hear from anyone who's interested in these zones. So once again, thanks very much. My name is Duncan MacGruer, and my contact details there from the University of Edinburgh if you want to ever get in touch.
Duncan, thanks so much. We have a short break now. Don't forget, you can post questions in along the Twitter hashtag Apereo20, and there's a session later in the week, as Duncan mentioned. But a short break, and then on to Beadwork. See you shortly.